That's all right. We'll live. So here's the thing about 5 and 25. You are at 5 and 25, 5 ways to turn LinkedIn from a time waster to a business builder. I'm Tom Ruich, the guy in the white shirt or gray shirt, or what color is your shirt?
It's driving the camera nuts by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's Dean Isaacs. And here's how this is going to work. Dean and I are going to spend a moment introducing ourselves, telling you what we do, who we are, why we're here. And then we are going to dive into 5 tips in, we're going to pack this all into 25 minutes. And then at the end of the 25 minutes, Dean and I will spend a couple of more minutes chatting with you about something. And then we'll spend some time on Q&A. So we are going to deliver the content in this 25-minute window, and then you're free to go, but you also can stick around with us for quite a while. Please mute if you are not muted. I don't have one of those Zoom assistants with me who can do the mute bit. Dean, take it away. Who are you? Why are you here?
Yeah, well, thanks, Tom. This is going to be a wild and fast presentation. We've got a lot to cover. So my name is Dean Isaacs. My firm is Vantage Group. We are a sales and marketing strategy firm. So we work with B2B businesses and help them identify the revenue roadblocks in their business and help them remove them so they can grow, scale, spend less time doing it, and have more fun. So that's who we are. Tom?
Beautiful. Thanks, Dean. I'm Tom Ruich. I am the founder and the CEO of Story Power Marketing. Coaches, consultants, and any other experts who package their expertise for sale and to serve clients hire me to power up their creative content and storytelling, because most of them are dishing out the same old boring blah, blah, blah content. And then their prospects are tuning out and turning off, and the experts are feeling frustrated and stuck. So they hire me to transform their content from boring to brilliant, to turn the marketing process from frustrating to fulfilling and fun, and to convert the bottom line from pitiful to profitable. Bottom line in my business is that if you can create that creative content, you'll be the one to stand out in your niche, and your prospects are more likely to choose you and hire you to do business with. And Dean and I both are very, very active on LinkedIn. So that's the reason that we chose this topic, 5 ways to turn LinkedIn from a time waster. Raise your hand, by the way, if you've been concerned in the past that LinkedIn is a time waster. I have. Yeah. So 5 ways to turn LinkedIn from a time waster to a business builder. And we're going to dive right in. We're going to keep this promise of 5 and 25, right, Dean? So 5 and 25. Number 1. Go ahead, Dean.
Well, number 1, it's all about the profile. So, Tom, did you want to share those slides?
Yeah, I'm going to bring them in.
Cool.
Oh, share the slides, right? First time jitters, right?
That's right.
Here we go.
There we go. Awesome. Thank you. So the first of the 5 is it's all about your profile, right? You can do all this cool stuff about outreach and connecting and messaging and all of that stuff. But what do? The first thing people do when you connect with them is they do what? They go write your profile. So if you don't have your profile set up in the right way to really attract and connect, then forget all your outreach, forget all of the hard work building relationships. It's just gonna fall on deaf ears. So we're going to go into a couple of things, key things in your profile. I would say if you haven't turned on creator mode, that's a freebie for you. It's not on the list. Turn on creator mode in your profile. It reorients some of the information. You have a little more control over how your profile shows up. So that's just a quick tip there. But as far as your headline, so your headline is that copy right beneath your name, right? And LinkedIn's wisdom says we should just use your current role, right? CEO of, salesperson for. That does nothing for your audience. It does nothing for the people that are going to look at your profile and quickly understand what you do. So you gotta edit that profile the headline under your profile. And I've got 3 quick formulas that you can use. So you want to be able to speak to who you work with, what do you do, and what outcome can they expect. If they see that right in your headline, then when somebody searches for you on LinkedIn or you show up in a list, that's the first thing they see. So think about this in terms of a quick equation, right? The first thing is, like Tom said in his intro, X hire me. So who is your ideal client? Keep it short. X hire me to accomplish. What is the outcome you help them achieve? That's the second part. And the third part is without pain, without spending extra time in your business. Or it could be while. So X hire me to accomplish X while they spend less time in their business, or while they can scale and not have to invest in more employees, whatever that is.
Yep.
So think about that equation in your professional headline. That's the first step.
And then the next one, by the way, we said that there are 5 tips, but we're going to give you like 5 tips alone about your profile. So five topics with a bunch of tips underneath it. So delivering your message and call to action in your banner image. So you have that space up above your profile, and most people, I've seen people put pictures of pretty sunsets. I've seen people put pictures of themselves and their family, but you can turn that into graphic text that reiterates or expands on what Dean was talking about in the headline. Use that space. And I have to be honest with you, that's a hole in my profile. My profile has my logo, a nice picture of me speaking, public speaking. It implies a certain level of authority, but I don't have an offer or a description of what I do in my profile banner. So, cobbler's children not practicing what I preach, but I'm going to get to it, I promise. Yep. So what else, Dean?
Next is there are lots of sections in your LinkedIn profile, right? You've got the featured section at the top. If you don't have your creator mode turned on, you won't have the feature section at the top. It will show your experience at the top. So turn on creator mode, get your feature section at the top, and then you can pin any post or any content you want right in there. So maybe you've got a really great testimonial from a client that's a post in your LinkedIn profile, and you feel like you want to pin that into your feature section. If you've got a video, if you've got a particular piece of content, a really popular post, for example, that you've got a lot of visibility on, pin that sucker right in the feature section, because that's where people scroll. They scroll top down. So Tom's got some great examples there.
Yeah, here's my featured section. One of the really cool things is that it's a scrolling thing. It will show you tons and tons of things on the screen. And so one of my strategies right now, I want to be noticed on LinkedIn as a great podcast guest. So here I am as a guest with the great Ted Padromo, great LinkedIn expert. Here I am with Doreen Downing, who's an upcoming podcast host, and with Ruth Allen and other podcast hosts. And so you could put videos, you could put featured articles, but it's a great place to demonstrate what you do and to demonstrate your authority. So let's get back to the slides, Dean, and have a couple more on the profile. Loading your profile with endorsements and recommendations. So at the bottom of your profile, it takes... when you set up your profile, say that you're good at whatever. I'm good at storytelling. I'm good at direct response marketing. I'm good at X, Y, and Z. And what you want to do is get people to endorse you, which is a one-click exercise. And once they endorse you, your endorsement count is reflected at the bottom of your profile. And the maximum is 99. Once you're at 99, you could still get more endorsements, but what it will say is 99 plus. So what you don't want to have at the bottom of your thing is you're a coach and you're really good on mindset or whatever, and you say that I'm good at mindset, and it says you've gotten 3 endorsements. You want that to say 99 plus endorsements and it'll show the top 3. And don't be shy to reach out to people and to ask them. And one way to do it also is just the reciprocal effect thing. Go and endorse them. Go to their profile and endorse them for things. Recommendations, different. Those are full on recommendations, testimonials. Request those and make sure the ones that are showing, you can change the order in which they appear. Make sure the order in which they're showing are relevant and speaking to the things that are most important to you and your business. And then finally, Dean, the about us section. We don't have a lot of time on this slide, but just talk a bit about the about us section in a little bit of detail.
Yeah, I'll give you a little bit of structure to think about in terms of the about section. You see everything from bios and like the War and Peace, right? It's all over the map, or it's a few bullet points, or it's blank. I think you need to have 4 or 5 key pieces of information in the about section. Again, the goal is to establish credibility as soon as somebody comes to your profile. They're not going to connect, they're not going to engage unless you have credibility. So what is your hook? Put your hook right at the top of the about section. So it could be something like, not sure where your next client's coming from. So if you've attracted your ideal client and you know your ideal clients struggle with lead gen, for example, that's going to get their attention. That's the hook, right? So think about that for your business. The next is a problem statement. Are you tired of doing cold outreach and waiting for the next referral? Yep, that's me. I'm going to keep reading, right? If I'm your ideal client. Well, our thing that we do, whatever it is, gives you this kind of outcome. So outcome is the third piece, right? You can stop worrying about your next client. They come in at a steady stream month after month without you having to do a thing, whatever your outcome is. And then drop some evidence, right? Client testimonial, some statistics, an example. That's all you need for your about. Hook, problem, outcome, evidence.
Yep, I love it. I love it. So let's get to number 2 of 5. Let's see here. Oops. Well, stuck. Hold on. Here we go. Number 2. Be a selective connector. I'll start in on this one. The idea here is there are a lot of people out on LinkedIn whose approach is, if somebody asks me to connect, I'm going to connect, and I'll just keep bringing those connections in. The problem with that is there is a lot of garbage on LinkedIn. There are a lot of people who are going to offer connections to you who are not going to provide any value to you. And so I want to share with you, if you look at this slide, there are 4 P words. Actually, there are 6 P words here. The 4 that I was focusing on: purchaser, promoter, partner, or platform. And it's a critical thing that when you're looking at potential connections on LinkedIn or at a networking event, think about, where may the value be? Is this somebody who might be a purchaser? Is this a prospect? Is this somebody who might be good to promote me? We have some overlap in the audience, or they have a large following and they might be good people to promote my email list, to promote my event, to promote my whatever, just where you might be able to ask them to do that sort of thing. Are they somebody who might be a joint venture partner, Tom and Dean partnering together on events, on a new venture, on a new thing? Or are they somebody who might have a platform? They might have a podcast, they might have stages, they might have access to stages. So when you get connection requests, or when you're hunting for people to connect with on LinkedIn, they have to check at least one of those boxes. And really what you want to be doing is thinking about what are the things that I'm really most interested in. I'm most interested in speaking on stage, so I'm going to look for people who have platforms. Don't just willy-nilly go and take those requests. You want to give and get around those 4 things. How can I, is this somebody who can, who's a purchaser, promoter, partner, or platform provider, and how can I help them? Do I have platforms to give them? Could I refer purchasers to them? Is there something about what they do that I could promote? And is this a partner, or can I introduce partners. That's all we have on this slide, Michael, or excuse me, Dean. But do you have anything to add?
No, I think the two things you said there that I think everybody should hear is give before you get, right? You got to give value. You got to show true value. And if you surround yourself on LinkedIn with people that have commonalities, similar markets, similar clients, similar interests, similar platforms, then your message will resonate with those people. And it's easy to give value versus this rando that showed up from another continent that you have no connection with, right? No similarities with. So really focus on that. It makes a huge difference. Then it's not about collecting connections. It's about starting to build relationships, and LinkedIn is a platform to do that.
Yeah, and we're going to get to it's not about building connections in a moment. Oh, and being a LinkedIn lion, LinkedIn open networking or open to, I forget what lion stands for. There are a lot of people who are just, as I said, just willy-nilly taking any and all connections, sending out a gazillion connection requests, the spray and pray connection request approach. I'm going to just put them out there, see who says yes, and then feel all good about the metrics that I have so many connections. That's a great way to waste time, spin your wheels and lose money. So let's move on to number 3, Dean. Ditch the meet and pitch robotic campaigns. This is my favorite one. We all have felt this pain. So Dean, why don't you jump in and elaborate a little bit on this whole give before you get, because that's not how most of those robotic campaigns are constructed. We've all been on the receiving end of them, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think if anybody on this call has never received a pitch and connect or a connect and pitch, sometimes you get pitched before they even connect. Other times they want to connect, and as soon as you get that, you say yes, boom, sales pitch. Doesn't work, right? It doesn't work, and we want to disconnect and block and all. So if you've experienced that and it doesn't work, then what is the opposite of doing that? It's about relationships. Social selling is a term that's been used a lot, and it's a little bit of an oxymoron, because I don't believe you can effectively sell on social media. What you do is you build relationships, and you start a dialogue, and you start to give value, and that gives you an opportunity to have a conversation. And we'll get to that here in a minute.
Yeah.
So
keep going.
Okay, I'll keep rolling. Engage like you would want to be engaged on LinkedIn. Maybe it's like the golden rule, right? We've forgotten it. Treat other people like you want to be treated. Do that on social media. So if you've attracted your world, your connections, where there's a commonality, common problems you solve and work on, then it's easy to deliver value, because those are the problems you solve. That's the expertise you can share. So keep it human. If you use a tool to connect on LinkedIn, I'm not going to completely bash that, because it's one way to reach a large audience. If you've used Sales Navigator to find your connections, the people, the profile of the people you want to connect with. But be really careful how far you take that automation tool in terms of like engagement. If you get them to respond to a connection request with an automation tool, I'm going to say, okay, now get human. Now reach out to them individually, look at their posts, look at their activity, comment on their stuff, be active in their world. So when they see someone, they say, hey, Mary, I recognize your name. You comment on 3 of my posts last week. Thank you. There's a much more high likelihood of an engaging conversation.
I completely agree. And I do use an automation tool occasionally for the connection requests. So if I get LinkedIn addresses from a bunch of people I meet at a networking event, I will use an automation tool to send those people who have said, hey, I want to connect with the people who are in this room. I'll automate the connection requests. But the minute they connect, I then go and review their profile, say something personal, make the human connection. That's so much different than what the meet and pitch robotic campaigns are all about. I'll dive into this one, number 4. Don't get hung up on vanity metrics. And I'm going to keep this short. Here's the deal. Connections, followers, impressions, and likes, you can't deposit those in your bank account. period. I have talked to so many business people who will talk to me about their social media campaigns. We're killing it on social media. Look how many likes we have. Look how many connections we have. Look how many people read our post. And nothing is happening. So what you really, really need to think about is, where does this fit within the grand scheme of my marketing? And what does it mean? And what I'm beginning to do in LinkedIn, it's not simple to do, but I'm beginning to measure, okay, every time I add 100 people as a connection on LinkedIn, how many email subscribers can I attribute to those connections? How many people are attending events that are leading into my sales funnel, and all of the thing? Because the bottom line, and this is a really critical idea, the bottom line is that LinkedIn and other social media is not the ideal place to sell, especially in B2B consulting businesses. I was in an event very recently with somebody who is a massive LinkedIn influencer, social media influencer. She has, I think, 50,000 followers on LinkedIn, 40,000 maybe. And what she said is that links from LinkedIn and other social media account for just 3% of her sales, just 3% of her sales. And that led her to talk about what we're talking about in this fifth thing. And this was actually based on a quote from her. What you really want to think about social media, LinkedIn in particular, is doing is making connections, establishing a relationship, and then using those connections to drive people to other real estate that you control. What do I mean by other real estate that you control? Your email list, connection platforms like a event series such as the 5 and 25 event series, online communities, networking events, clubs, and other groups that you control. Because when you have an audience that is gathering with you in a place that you have the stage, you control the conversation, you are managing the relationship, you're in a much better position to build your business. Dean, I'll let you wrap up. We're on the fifth slide. I'd like you to elaborate on this because I know you have thoughts on this, and then in 3 minutes we'll have reached the 25-minute point.
All right. We covered a lot of ground. So one thing I want to add to what Tom said is, if you build your business on a social media platform, you're building your business in somebody else's rented land. You don't own the space. You don't own your profile. You don't control anything. You build 40,000 connections, and for some reason, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter says, we're done with you, dude. And they kick you off the platform. They delete your profile, which happens a lot. Your whole business went up in smoke.
Or they just, change the algorithm so that post that used to get, 150 views now gets 3. Yep, and you have no idea why.
So
when you put them in your room, there, whatever, how many ever people are in this room, all of you are hearing me. There's no algorithm that says, oh, only the people in the top row and on the left get to hear this sentence.
That's right.
That's not how it works.
Yeah.
So go on, Dean. Sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. So again, social media is an amazing place to go build relationships, start conversations, but it's not where the relationship ends. We're not going to sell on social. We're going to move them out of social. So Tom and I have a good friend, and he has this methodology he calls give, give, get. So when you start to connect and message and you get back and forth to these individuals, you're going to truly show up with 2 things of value you can give them. It could be an offer to be on your podcast, or connect them with somebody else, or whatever those gives are. The get is obviously an ask. But the beautiful thing about the give piece is it's a really easy way to transition that conversation from LinkedIn to somewhere else. Hop on a Zoom call, get on a phone call, add them to your email list, whatever it is. They get to receive that give You've just got to find a way for you to connect off of LinkedIn to do so. So maybe one of the gives is maybe it is about a podcast. So we know a lot of folks that host podcasts and they want to be guests on podcasts. It's a part of their marketing. So an easy give is, I don't have a podcast, but I know my good friend Tom does, and he would love to have you on. Let's hop on a quick Zoom call, get to know each other, and let's see if it's a good fit. Nobody's going to say no to that if they want to receive that invite to Tom's podcast. So It's a really easy way to transition. You can also offer things like, if you've got a lead magnet, an email newsletter, whatever you want to connect with. I'm going to talk about a quiz that we are launching here in a couple of weeks, in a minute. It's another way to get people from your LinkedIn conversations into your email list and off of that platform, because you know that building your email list is one of the most valuable assets that you can build in your business. So think about how ways to get off of that, get them out of this messaging back and forth to another platform.
Yep. Amen. Beautiful. It is 55 past the hour. That means that we just delivered 5 tips in 25 minutes. I can't believe we managed to pull that off. I thought the first time was going to be 5 tips in, who knows how
2
long,
hours,
with
right?
a little apology. But we made it. And now Dean and I, we're going to take about 5 more minutes, and then, somehow, let's do this. About 5 more minutes, and then we're going to open it up to Q&A, and we can stay here until top of the hour on that.
Yep.
So, first of all, contact information, the websites, Dean at the Vantage Group, Tom at Story Power Marketing. Dean, go ahead and share that quiz tool that you were talking about a moment ago.
So this is the first time I've talked about this in public. So you guys have all got the scoop on this. So we are launching an assessment for business owners. It's called the Revenue Roadblocks Quiz. And it's going to help you identify why you're stuck, why your revenue is stuck, and how to unstick that. There's going to be a quiz, and then there's going to be a back end. There's going to be a scorecard, a personalized scorecard. So if you're interested in getting on the list to be the first few to take the Revenue Roadblocks Quiz, if you're not connected with me on LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn and send me a quick message and say Revenue Roadblocks Quiz, and I'll get you on the list. For all of you that are already connected, email me, text me, connect with me on LinkedIn, and just say Revenue Roadblocks Quiz, and I'll get you on the list.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And neat. So I was having a conversation with the VIP members of my coaching group called the Story Power Marketing Content Transformation Academy. And one of the things I told them is that a mentor and coach I work with recently yelled at me, nicely, but he yelled at me, in part because he thought there were certain things that I wasn't doing, one of which was emphasizing the fact that while I begin with storytelling and the importance of creating powerful story-powered content, that I ran an email marketing company for 19 years. I ran a marketing agency around that email marketing company. And one of the things that I do in my Content Transformation Academy is not just teach you how to make your content more powerful and more captivating, but I teach you all the tactics around how to get it out there, how to bring leads in, how to put it out on the website, how to email market, how to do all of those things. And so I am in process of revamping this program, building it into a full-fledged marketing mastermind where the foundational emphasis is on story power marketing. If you are interested in learning more about how the program works and how I might be able to help you, let's schedule a call. Just email me at tom@storypowermarketing. And what we'll discuss is what's working for you right now in your marketing, what's not working so well, and what you need to fill some of the gaps. And if there's something that I can do to help you, resources I have, the coaching program, we can talk about it. And this is not there for just a free 15-minute answer a few marketing questions kind of thing. If you're serious about, here's where I am in my business and I want to make some changes and let's talk and see who, Tom, whether you can help. I'd love to have that conversation with you. And what may happen is I may say, oh, you know what? I think you need to talk to this person or that person or this person. I know a lot of people. I have a lot of resources, and I would love to talk to you. So reach out to me, Tom at storypowermarketing.com, if you want to have that conversation. And then I'll send you a Zoom link. We'll make it happen. All right. So I've not laid eyes on the chat. What I'm going to do is call on Stan, who has his hand up. And and I just saw what Mary Sloan, sorry for my distraction. Mary Sloan said a lot of lions, the LinkedIn lions, sell how to do LinkedIn marketing well, which is kind of a funny thing.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, Stan, why don't you unmute and share your question?
And Dean, great information, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Could you tell us this, please? What is the best way? I've been on LinkedIn for a long time, made a lot of connections, and frankly, it's been a waste of time. What would you suggest? You gave 5 great points. Which one of those or 2 should I focus on, please?
I'll chime in, Dean. The first thing is your profile. So Stan, I'll look up your profile and I'll offer a couple of tips right off the bat. I'm not going to do that right on the call, but if your profile is the same old thing, including, well, why don't you tell me, Stan? Just pull up your profile. What does it say in the main headline under your name?
Just a second.
Hey, Mary, while we're waiting, do you want to chime in and elaborate on what you were saying in the chat?
Tom, this is what I have. I can help you get cash because of COVID.
Okay, well, that's better than saying I am a lawyer or candlestick maker or whatever the expression is, something baker, candlestick maker. But it could be it could be a lot better. And all of you will get the recording. And I think the first step for all of you is to go back and listen through the suggestions that Dean and I made, particularly about what you're doing at the very top of your profile, and make those changes at least, because then as you begin to go out and make connections, your story is being told in a more effective manner. People begin to notice you. Now, the particular tactics of what to do next, Dean, why don't you chime in? What would be the next thing that you would suggest Stan focus on?
Yeah, Stan, your profile. Number 1, right? You help people get cash because of COVID. My sarcasm will kick in here. Do you teach them to rob banks? I mean, what do you do, right?
Right.
There's no context, right? So take my sarcasm for what it's worth. But seriously, profile, and then get super clear on the smallest viable market you can add the most possible value. Define that.
Yep.
Company, industry, role, persona, buying habits. I don't care how you define it. Smallest viable market you can deliver the highest possible value, and only connect and build around that sphere of influence. That's where you need to spend your time and add value to that group.
Yep. And I'm going to add one more thing here, and I'm going to introduce this point by noting that a guy named Michael Delon, who was on this call and I think had to drop off. Michael Delon, who is an outstanding marketer, runs Paperback Expert, helps you write your book, helps you build authority. Wonderful guy to know. Reach out to him if you don't know him. Tell him Dean and Tom sent you. Anyway, he introduced Dean and me, and I was in a conversation with Michael yesterday where he joked, because it actually was in a mastermind that he runs, and I gave advice to one of the members of the mastermind that was effectively build your email list and send more emails than you're sending right now. And he and Michael and his son Caleb joked that, how is it that Tom always gives that advice? It seems like every meeting I'm in, Tom tells people to build their email list and send more email. It's not because I used to run an email marketing company. It's because I used to run an email marketing company and I know how well email marketing works. Yep. So Stan, the second thing that I would think about as far as your LinkedIn is, how can I begin to, what are the things that I can do to begin to drive the people I meet on LinkedIn and I'm connected with on LinkedIn to my email list? That might be putting consistent calls to action on LinkedIn that said, join my list. It might be sharing with them a PDF or a lead magnet that requires them to enter the email. It might be at the bottom. What I do, I post, I take emails that I sent to my list, post them as LinkedIn articles, and at the bottom of the LinkedIn article say, oh, by the way, this was originally published as an email to my list. If you like what you just read, click here, join my list. And I always get a handful of people at least on my list from having done that. Now what you're doing, and this is where we're talking about vanity metrics, Stan, now what you're doing is beginning to say, connections and views are turning into subscribers. Yep. And subscribers, there's a much clearer line from subscribers to sales. Email marketing leads to sales. Social media leads to connections that lead, tip 5, to whatever real estate you want to lead them to, if you're being strategic. So if all you're doing is sitting around in social media, posting stuff and waiting for the phone to ring, it doesn't work.
Not gonna happen.
But if you're strategic about getting those social connections to places where you can then have conversations with them like this, we're doing what we said. We went on LinkedIn, we told people about an event, we have a bunch of people in the room. Those people are gonna reach out to Dean and take his quiz. Some people are gonna ask me to have a meeting, and maybe we'll get sales, maybe we won't. And we'll only get sales for people where it's the right fit and you want to work with us. But it's honest and authentic connection building, not just post and pray.
Yep.
That is great information. Thank you. Hey, does it make any sense? We're always told when people have a birthday, anniversary, job change, whatever, is it worth the time to do that? Or should we focus more on what you've been talking about?
Go ahead, Dean.
I was reading Richard Terry's comment in the chat. So Stan, can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Yes. As you know, with LinkedIn, we're told when people have birthdays, anniversaries, change in job, and so forth, is it worth our time to go through that and connect, make comments on that? Or is it better to focus on what you've been talking about for the last half hour?
If you just bumped into a stranger and you have overheard they had an anniversary or a wedding thing or a birthday, the likelihood of you walking over and saying happy birthday is probably pretty slim, right? Be kind of weird.
Right.
Why would you do that on LinkedIn? Unless you know the person and you have some kind of dialogue, it just seems, to me, it seems very hollow, right? It's like I'm just following, it's the Facebook birthday thing, right? You don't talk to somebody for years and you see their birthday come up and you're one of 100 that say, happy birthday, Stan. it doesn't, I don't think it brings any genuine value. So I think focus on the activities that bring genuine value and connection. If you know the person, do it. If you don't.
Yeah, and value is the key thing here. It depends. There are tools where you actually can scan somebody's profile and determine what their personality is, and some people swear by that, some people not, but I think the idea is to err on the side of less small talk, and the stuff about, I want to tell you about my family and talk about my vacation and what's your favorite color and all that kind of stuff, that plays on Facebook more than on LinkedIn. And Dean talked about give, get a little while ago, and approaching that from really an all business approach. Hey, Dean, look, I looked at your profile. A couple of things I noticed. Number one, your headline just has your job title. Here's my tip about how you could redo your headline. Second thing, I noticed that you're looking to connect with people in X industry. I know a couple of people. I'm thinking that maybe if we had a call, I could share with you a few names, or I'll shoot you an email, share a few names. Here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people who are struggling with content creation, but they want to stand out in their niche. The kind of people who are already committed to sending email and social posts, but they're spinning their wheels, suffering from writer's block, feeling frustrated, and they want to learn how to escape that marketing maze. If you know anybody, do you know anybody who would fit that mold and might benefit from knowing me? Let me know. That's an example of give, get, and it's all business, and it's authentic. So wishing somebody a happy birthday, okay, but don't then make a whole bunch of small talk about how much fun you had at your last birthday party or whatever the case may be.
Right. Yep. So Richard Terry asks, I've been told that LinkedIn is more for B2B businesses. Could you adopt these techniques to Facebook for B2C businesses? Tom, do you want to take that one?
So first thing I will say about Facebook is I do not fancy myself a Facebook marketing expert, and I have really mixed feelings about Facebook. The shorter answer is yeah, kind of. I think that you probably could the principles that we shared today are at their core marketing principles. Give before you get. Make human connections. Don't do the robotic BS. All of that applies to Facebook as well as to LinkedIn. And you're right that there's more B2C traction on LinkedIn, or excuse me, on Facebook, Instagram, those other platforms than LinkedIn. That said, professional service providers, lawyers, accountants, financial planners, so forth, are having success on LinkedIn as well as on Facebook. So there is, we're all consumers of professional services. Now, I know Richard is here in St. Louis, and Richard runs a kitchen and bath business. So is LinkedIn a place to be promoting a kitchen and bath service? Probably not as much as Facebook and Instagram, but the principles that we shared today can be extrapolated over for sure.
Yeah, I'd add to that just a little bit. I want to say LinkedIn has over 700 million users.
Mm-hmm.
That's a few, right? And most of those people have homes they live in. They buy cars. They buy health insurance. They buy their individual consumers as well as their persona, this professional persona on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. So I would advocate that if you position yourself in the right way, you can sell B2C services on LinkedIn. Well, let me back up. You can connect to people that buy B2C services on LinkedIn, right? Treat my uncle, like don't sell. And so it's all about how you show up, right? We all buy consumer products and services, and we're all here in our professional with our professional hat on. So I actually think that there's a lot of leverage to be had on LinkedIn for those services. You've got to position yourself in a way that elevates you from everybody else selling Mary Kay and, you know, Herbalife, that kind of stuff. You know, because you see a lot of that kind of stuff.
No offense to the Mary Kay and Herbalife
No offense.
people in the audience.
You get the point.
Other questions? Stan, your hand is still up. I'm not sure if that was from before or if you have another question.
Well, Tom, if possible, you and Dean, how is a better way to start? I say, under my name, I help you get cash because of COVID. How's a more succinct way to say that and grab their attention, then explain it more, you know, underneath that, please?
Well, so Dean, I think Stan is a connection of yours. Do you know Stan's business better than I? I'm not positive, actually.
I do. No.
Yeah, and so Stan, I think I help you get cash because of COVID. I don't know the business, and I don't know what that exactly means. Are you tapping into government grants? So let's go back to Dean's formula. Who are you serving? So remember the way I presented: coaches, consultants, and others who are packaging their expertise for sale to serve clients. That's pretty clear who I'm talking to. Hire me to blank. So I would start by using that formula. Who do you serve, and what is it that they are paying you to do? So and frankly, so whoever it is hires me or turns to me to get more cash to fund their business, I'm guessing, I don't know.
Yes, that's true.
Get more cash to fund their business by tapping into, you know, little known pools of government money or something like that.
That's it exactly, Tom.
Okay. Well, good. I guessed right on the first guess. So you're on your way. You're on your way.
So whether it's a business or even nonprofits, amazing. You know, if they've had loss during COVID, there's a good opportunity they can get money if they have 5 employees or more. It's real simple.
I think that's powerful. And when you hear the recording, take some of those words that you said and work them into your headline.
Yep.
Or your about section.
You could expand it in your about section. Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Tom and Dean, thank you.
You're welcome, Stan. Yeah. So, buddy.
Just a tip for Stan. While we were on this event, I tried to take a look at his LinkedIn headline or his LinkedIn profile, and I was blocked by LinkedIn. Either LinkedIn has blocked him, or he has his settings set so that only his first degree connections can see his profile or something like that. He may have his privacy settings so strong that nobody can find him.
Wow. Yeah.
I tried 3 times. I couldn't reach his profile.
Wow.
And
Tom,
we had the right
Dean,
one.
how do I change that?
I'm
settings,
looking.
yeah.
I'm hitting view profile. I got through, and I'm a second degree connection. So
Right.
Maybe it's only maybe because I'm 3rd degree or more, but I do have a premium. I have a Sales Navigator account, and I normally can reach 3rd degree people.
Yeah, not sure, Stan. And what I would suggest is that you maybe get together with Buddy and somebody else and try to test that. I'm not honestly, I don't have a good easy answer for you because I can't replicate the air.
Oh, Buddy, you've got my contact information. Can you send me
Well,
any type of communication?
sure, but I don't have your contact information because I wasn't able to get on your LinkedIn profile, but I could. But you can go to my profile, Buddy Hodges on LinkedIn, or go to consultwithbuddy.com. I'm a LinkedIn coach also. And by the way, Tom and Dean, you did a great job. It was so well simplified and so well organized into the key points. I teach the same thing, only it takes me a lot longer to say it.
Well,
We moved pretty quickly.
yeah, thank you, buddy. It was probably a bit of a fire hose. And what I want everybody to know is that this is the first of what will be a series of 5 and 25 events, probably the next one in 2 weeks. And our intent is to do 2 or so a month on a variety of business topics, marketing topics. And so we will be reaching out to all of you and inviting you back, and please spread the word and let others know about it as well. We still have a few minutes, so who else has a question, a comment, a complaint? Bring it on.
The complaint department is closed for today.
Oh, I guess so. Yes, sir.
So I raised my hand. I'm Doug Phelps. I know Dean very well. And I am in basically the professional services business, helping people through the process of buying and selling a home. Love this, excellent content, appreciate it. My question for some clarity is back in the profile section, Dean, when you talked about that, I think mine is pretty good. But you commented about what the headline needs to say, and then that the message and the call to action could be in the banner image. So I'm curious to know what of those two are the same? How do they complement one another? How would you suggest that?
Yeah, so your professional headline is always going to show up under your name, right? Regardless of which device people look at your profile on, if they're just seeing a list, it's always going to show up. So that's where people's eyes tend to go first. But that banner image is prime real estate, to use a really good pun for you, Doug. And because it's graphic, you can make it stand out. If you have a tagline or a call to action or something that's unique and different, put it up there. It's just one more place to reinforce your messaging. So for you, if you want to focus on the country club and golf communities, for example, you could call that out right at the top, right? And then maybe your professional headline is a little more broad in terms of the market you serve. But that's going to catch my attention, because if I'm a golfer and country clubs are my thing, boom, it's going to catch my attention. So it's just one more place to reinforce your unique differentiators. Maybe you have a tagline, maybe you have an offer, you can put that in there as well. Of course, it's not clickable, it's just a visual image, but that's the way I think about it.
Yeah, and I mentioned that I'm not doing that, and as I contemplate what I'm going to do, I have a lead magnet that I give away on my site. It's a free training, and it's here. I'll just quickly get this right. Power marketing. And the training is called, the 3 most important storytelling keys to captivate prospects and inspire them to buy. And so what I might do on my banner, that's a little bit, it's on my website, and the full name of this thing is the 3 most important storytelling keys to captivate prospects and inspire them to buy without pitching and prodding. Okay. That actually could be my LinkedIn headline. I help so-and-so captivate prospects, inspire them to buy without pitching and prodding. That's right with Dean's formula, without writer's block, without pitching and prodding. But what I may do in my banner image is just in red bold letters, free training, next line, 3 keys, ... to captivate prospects and inspire them to buy. That would fit in the banner. And then underneath that, storypowermarketing.com/3 keys, just a block of graphic text. And it's a call to action. It's using language that is sort of the headline for what my big promise is. And it drives people to download, and it's consistent, Stan, with what we were talking about, getting people who are connecting with you on LinkedIn to your email list.
Yep.
That's that. So something like that. I love Dean's suggestions, but don't just put a pretty picture up there.
Oh, I
Very
tried
good,
to
thank
find
you.
Buddy's name, Buddy Hodges. Buddy, how's your last name spelled?
HODGES. If you go to linkedin.com/in/Buddy Hodges, you find me. You have to put the IN in there between 2 slashes. But Buddy Hodges, yeah. It's Buddy Hodges Connector, by the way.
Thank you.
I think we have time for one more question or comment. And I'm going to go ahead and put my email in there. Come on, you've got us here. No reason not to take advantage.
Yes, Tom, is there anything else? Both of you probably have some other things besides the 5 that you explained so clearly. There's probably 1 or 2 other things that would help us, please.
Yeah. What pops top of mind for you, Dean? I'll think about it for a second.
Be consistently active on LinkedIn. Post regularly. We can get into posting. It's a whole set of stuff. We can talk about algorithms and all of that fun stuff, but you can't add value if you're a lurker and just a voyeur, right?
Yep.
Post, get content out there, use video. It's really, LinkedIn loves video, native video especially. They like long form text posts. They want you to stay. They look at a thing called dwell time, which means how long does somebody stay on your post? So if you can increase the dwell time of your post, LinkedIn will say, well, that's relevant. I'm going to show it to more people. So long form text, the PDF scrolling carousel type posts and video. But I don't care really what you're posting to a certain degree. Be posting regularly, consistently add value. Because again, when people look at your profile, they're going to look at your stuff. And when you post regularly and people interact with your posts, especially in that first hour, LinkedIn sees that as a relevant post and they show it to more people. So you can draw people towards your profile by posting regularly.
The other thing that I would say is once you've made connections with people who themselves are active and have good followings, participate in other people's conversations with meaningful comments. Don't just spray your pitch all over the place, but participate in the conversations, because oftentimes the people whose conversations you're commenting on, whose posts you're commenting on, are drawing more views to their stuff. And if you're contributing to the conversation with a meaningful, insightful comment, people will find their way to you and they'll connect with you. And those are the kinds of connections you want. Somebody who is impressed by something you said. Buddy, I'm going to give you the last word. You had your hand up and I think you wanted to.
Well, you just covered it. Tom, that's what I was going to say, is one of the most powerful, highest return on investment of time on LinkedIn is to comment on other people's posts and leverage their followers.
Yep.
other people's network.
Yep. Very good. Well, buddy, I'm glad that you could reaffirm that. I want to thank everybody. Dean, last word from you.
Great to meet everybody today. Reach out. Best way to find me is on LinkedIn, obviously, right? Given the topic of today's conversation, reach out, let's connect, and I'm happy to help however I can. And be watching out for our next event announcement here in a week or so.
Thank you all
And
very,
Tom,
very much. And we'll see
Dean?
you later this month. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
Tom and Dean, thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
You're
everyone.
welcome. Thanks, everyone.
Take care.